gentlemen, welcome to TGW Turnbuckle Talk. Here are your hosts, EvilPenguinGaming and OddSmith311. Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Welcome to episode 9 of TGW Turnbuckle Talk. I am EvilPenguinGaming.
And I am OddSmith311.
How's it going, man?
Oh, not too shabby. Another day in paradise.
Another day in
paradise. Here in the lower southeast side of Michigan.
Lower southeast side. That's a lot. That's a lot to say.
It is. But it sounds more impressive than Michigan.
Yeah. So last week we had a really fun episode covering women in wrestling. And, I mean, we barely scratched the surface. There's so much else that we could talk about when it comes to women in wrestling. We didn't even really get into, like, current day stars. And there's so much to talk about there.
I think it was nice to it was nice to have a forum to just kind of talk about the subject, you know, because we each have a lot of. I mean, I don't think there's anything we really disagree vehemently about or anything, but I think we both have a very similar point of view on it. It was kind of cool to talk. Let's kind of talk about a free form. I definitely, we talked about later on going back and doing, maybe more specific time frames or even more specific stars. We could do a China, discussion or something.
I think doing specific, either or specific time frames or specific stars would be a lot of fun. Especially if you wanted to do, like, when women were being used very, very poorly.
Yeah, because I think at that time, she was one of the only ones that wasn't being treated like a sex object. I mean, I think
Right.
They hired them for that purpose. And we talk about that, in length. It was a fun episode.
Go back and check that out in the archives if you missed it. So this week, I think this episode is just going to be fun, honestly, because this is one of my favorite kind of topics when it comes to the world of professional wrestling. But before we get too far into the topic, we always have a little bit of promotion to do, so we will be right back.
Smith311 and the rest of the BTV crew every Thursday night starting around 9 o'clock for Insomniac Hours. I'll be playing some of my favorite games from Super Nintendo to Wii, PC to Xbox One. We'll be all over the place. It's what we like to do. We stay up late, we play games. You can follow us at Twitter, BananaROMa_TV for updates and interact with us during the show. Be there or be square.
Don't be square.
Join us every Friday evening.
I got some fun ones I can rattle off this list here too. Some of them I never actually saw myself, but I heard about her.
Usually, hopefully, me, OddSmith311.
Oh, someone will be there with me.
Yes! I
We'll
didn't
be
write
doing a
that.
multiplayer game in this season.
Or the
Something
Viagra.
we're going to try.
Yes, every Friday night. We're gonna be playing various games with our friends, and it probably will vary greatly depending on what games everyone has.
Then the universe would have caved in on itself.
It'd be an interesting potluck of gaming.
So yeah, stop on by, and it's all gaming.
When we do these spots, what it
If you don't
reminds
want
me
to
of?
play and you just want to lurk in the chat room,
Did you ever see that family?
You can find us on Discord as well.
Yep. So the main place for that is Twitch.
Did you ever see that Family Guy when
Thanks for listening.
like they show what they're doing between the cutscenes?
Join
They're
me,
sitting
Evil
around,
Penguin
like-
Gaming,
Yeah.
every Wednesday this season at 1 p.m. for Retro First Timer. I'll be playing old games that I've never played before, like Zelda, Star Fox, Mega Man. You never know.
Oh, I was
going
gonna
to
say, I thought you meant
pop up.
100%. I was gonna
That's
say, God
every
damn.
Wednesday at 1
You must have
p.m. for
played
Retro
last
First
36
Timer
hours
with
straight.
Evil Penguin Gaming.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening, and we want to take a second here to thank our Patreon supporters. We appreciate you very much.
That's
You
shabby,
help
man.
us do what we do.
Especially that game
all
had to be
all the
huge.
donations, all that money stacks up, and it helps us afford some really good things for the channel. and the station that we normally couldn't.
They're
And all that
addicting,
money
man.
goes right back into the channel.
Especially when it's
we
when it's a
appreciate
story
everything
you really
everybody's done
like,
for us, and we just
you
want
know.
to continue to make the best entertainment we can, and do what we enjoy doing: playing video games, interacting with everybody, and trying to make as much original content as we can. So stop on by. We have all kinds of perks that you can be part of.
It's a lot of
We got
levels.
perks. We're gonna give you shout outs. We'll put your names on our videos. It's a way to help out and support if you're not sure and
Pew
how,
what?
and you like what we do. It's patreon.com/BananaROMa TV.
Once again, we'd like to
Oh,
thank
it's like one of the
everybody who
red brick
supported us
things.
and everybody who's donated and
Ah.
continues to help us grow.
Thank you.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
Okay.
good feedback.
It is good to be back. It's always fun to help the masses understand our love of the crazy world of professional wrestling.
Yes.
Even though a lot of
Three
people,
episodes.
even though a lot of people are like, fake. I hate that word. But
I
anyway,
tell you when we finally get this apartment, I'm gonna start slowly indoctrinating Dave and Anna.
I hope so.
Dave's actually shown an interest in it. For someone who didn't grow up watching it, I think we've kind of got his attention.
I hope so, because then even with the limitations of the game, we'll still use 3 GMs, and we'll figure it out for next season. Because that would be so much fun.
Oh my god. I can only imagine.
I can only imagine what kind of segue gimmick matches we can have when we have 3 GMs. Yes, that is our topic this week. Gimmick matches. So,
Now, what exactly do you want to give a definition of what you consider a gimmick match for the good people?
what I consider a gimmick match. Anything that's not a regular one-on-one tag team. I would say, I don't know if I would consider like triple threat, fatal four-way. I don't know if I would consider those necessarily gimmick matches. I mean, I guess, because in matches like that, there's no DQ and yada yada yada.
It's just like two different. It's almost like two different two different sides of the same coin. Because you have one type of match that's like it's gimmick in the sense that it's unusual. There's an unusual number of people, or the rules are different. Then you had the literal gimmick matches where like there's some crazy stipulation or theme that goes with it.
And
I think it's just a matter
I think that's what I really want to focus on.
Mhm.
So, first and foremost, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have a favorite gimmick match?
Well, I guess this would fall under this particular topic, but I gotta say, War Games was always one of my favorite.
I agree with that.
The way they portrayed it, like it was always too fat. Well, not always. They tried different stuff, but even more recently, it's always like treated as like, okay, this is like we're going to war. Like this is it's time to get down to business. So now we're gonna really kill each other, kind of shit. I always liked the way it was presented and how it just went down. I mean, especially during the NWO days, created for some really good television. I
absolutely agree with that. I mean, to me, my favorite gimmick match will always be the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, dude. That's like probably one of the most, if not the most successful gimmick match.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Now, one of the, I believe one of the best gimmick types, because there's so many different types, is any kind of a cage match.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of variations of that one.
You know, because you've got War Games, you've got regular steel cage match, you've got Elimination Chamber, which is probably in my top 3 favorite gimmick matches.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's a good one. I can't believe I forgot that one.
And Hell in a Cell.
Well, Hell in a Cell, just like War Games, what usually makes that one so cool is how they present it. Like it's like, okay, now this is, you know, someone's gonna get hurt in this. You know, like we're out to really. It's just a very serious situation. If you're going to the Hell in a Cell thing, it's scary. It's gonna change your career. You know, like.
Well, it's supposed to. They kind of. Yeah. I believe that Hell in a Cell matches have got, in the past few years, pretty lackluster. Just my opinion.
I'd say one of the worst ones, and this may sound kind of weird considering how we started, what we were talking about last week. But I gotta say that was it Charlotte and Sasha Banks?
Oh my! What a match!
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. It was a good first attempt, I think.
Yeah.
It not so much Charlotte, but with Sasha, there was just. I hate to say it, man, but there were a couple points, like especially with table spots and stuff, where it was like she wasn't heavy enough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's happened a lot. You know, that's another one of my favorite. I didn't even think about that. Another one of my favorite gimmicks is a table match. I love a tables match.
Oh, classic! You have so much fun. There's just something about that visceral sound in the sight of someone going through a table just makes you go, ooh.
Right. Which is why, I mean, one of my all-time favorite tag teams, the Dudley Boys. Testify.
Get the tables.
But when you talk about women's matches, the very first women's tables match was a tag team match. It was Natalya and Beth Phoenix against Laycool. And Natalya went to put, I want to say it was Layla, through a table, and it didn't break. So she had to stack them both up on the table, and get up on the buckles, and do a splash to get the table to break.
Well, yeah, they're just so. I didn't see that one in particular, but I can imagine it's the same thing with Sasha, where they're just so. They're athletic, they're muscular for their size, but they're more life. But is that how you say it? Like there's very, like Charlotte, not so much. Even Becky Lynch, as short as she has more mass. And I'm not saying she's fat or anything by any means. She's fucking beautiful. I'm just saying that compared to like a Sasha Banks, who is shorter and little.
Right.
Now, because conversely, you talk about, and this is once again, I don't know if this is a gimmick match, but like the Last Man Standing.
I was going to mention those.
Yeah. They had the first, last woman standing match, and my opinion for that couldn't be any different.
I couldn't have a higher opinion of that match.
Oh my god, they beat the fuck out of me. Dude, her burying, I don't want to give the whole thing away, but her burying Charlotte with all that, I'm pretty sure I've seen something like that done, maybe on a few rare occasions, maybe, but it's very creative. The way that man.
Yeah. Because that was done with men not that long ago. I can't remember who it was. But it was in a Last Man Standing match like that. And that spot, I can never see that spot enough. No matter who's doing it, no matter what match it's in. I don't know. I just like watching people get buried by a bunch of furniture, I guess.
Was it Dean Ambrose and somebody? In the last...
man, I don't remember. Usually I'm good at remembering stuff like that, but
it's a very creative spot. And I'm like, is she really gonna get her like this? I mean, she put a lot of stuff on top of her match.
Yeah, she did.
And I'll say again, that just goes to show you the talent, especially of Charlotte Flair. And that's one of the things I love most about some of these some of the stuff these wrestlers do is the timing. You have to be so. When you do something like that, like she had to sell it just right to where she barely got out in time.
Mm-hmm.
And coming, I don't know. Just being on TV and being in front of people like that, and knowing that if you screw up, you know Vince McMahon's gonna come down the ring and tear both his quads, get in the ring to yell at you.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, Royal Rumble. Of course, I know what you're talking about.
Was that Batista and Cena, right?
It was Batista and Cena.
Oh my god, yeah, it was.
I love that ending though. Even if it was a botch, I love that ending.
Well, because it's a gimmick. As far as gimmick matches go, and you said you brought up Royal Rumble, which is probably one of the most popular and one of the best because there is so much. When it's done right, there's so much room for entertainment. Because you got stuff like and that wasn't even actually supposed to be entertainment. It was real, but it's like you're watching it like, was that supposed to happen? What the hell's going on? Everybody's looking around like, is this real right now? Like, Vince McMahon jumps in the ring and immediately falls on his ass and starts yelling up at the guys. They're like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, and when he doesn't stand up is then when you know something is wrong.
I know, but it's just.
I know you can't. I mean, it's almost as bad as Titus World Slide.
Oh, funniest spot ever. I'm really genuinely happy that they didn't have the LED, like. Oh
yeah, he'd have been dead.
Seriously, dude,
he would have broke his neck.
Absolutely. He's a big dude too, and
right?
That's a lot of momentum. I don't know how he had to hit something under that. There's stuff under the ring. I mean, tables and
right.
Poor guy.
All right.
I give him credit. He jumped back up and went right in there.
Yeah.
He just went.
And then got a T-shirt out of it.
I bet he made a shit ton of money off that too.
Probably,
so, hey,
because I can go back and watch that today and still laugh my ass off.
Oh, dude, it was. That's one that I actually saw. I know you did too. It happened live, and it just takes you a minute to go, what the fuck, what? Because with wrestling, you're always asking that question. You immediately have to ask, is this a set? Is something going on, or is that really happening? And they start replaying it over and over again. It's like, okay, I think it was an accident, but.
Gimmick matches are bad for that too.
Yeah.
Gimmick matches and Brock Lesnar matches. Oh, but we won't get into that. Now, I want to know your opinion on gimmick or pay-per-views other than the Royal Rumble that are based completely around a gimmick match, such as Hell in a Cell or Elimination Chamber, or coming up very soon, War Games.
Well, here's one. I don't know how many times they did this. It's another WCW one. The one they did do was an interesting experiment, but I don't think it turned out quite the way they wanted it to.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
World War III.
Not where I thought you were going.
Because World War III, that was the 3 rings, right? The 3 rings
right.
Over the top, like was 90 guys or something like that, or
I want to say it was 60.
60, yeah, not 60, or not 90. That's still a lot, shit.
Well, yeah, that's insane.
I don't know how many times they did that one. At least
I think they only did it twice.
Yeah.
And I know Scott Hall won one of them.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I want to go back and watch those.
Yeah, it was an interesting experiment.
No, I thought you were going with the Triple Cage.
No, I wrote that down on my list, but I wasn't gonna bring that one up yet. But oh my god, the Mega Powers versus the Alliance to end Hulkamania.
Oh my god.
With Zeus and fucking...
It was the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Zeus. It was Z Gangsta.
Oh yeah, sorry, Z Gangster. And then wasn't it fucking Haystacks Calhoun, but like with the Loch Ness or something like that? Or am I getting mixed up with someone else? Viscera, was that who?
No, Haystacks Calhoun was like back in the 70s.
But I think he was Loch Ness. I might be.
No, I don't think so.
Or maybe I'm thinking of another big guy from. I don't know. I have to look that one up and see where I'm getting that from. But I don't know. Anyway, there was some other guy there that was like. How much am I? Oh, I hate when my computer don't work.
The Yeti!
The Yeti! Oh my god. That was. I swear, dude, WCW, they were like the little engine that just couldn't. They had so many. Oh, you didn't turn it off. Ah, gotcha.
Okay. Apparently I had forgot.
That threw me.
Apparently I had forgot to turn it back on. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the triple cage.
Yes.
WCW had a lot of weird ideas like that, man. They had what's another one? Spin the wheel, make the deal.
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Let's see, White Castle of Fear.
What?
Which I think was like it was like a strap match. I think with Vader and Sting or something like that. But there's this whole. Remember when they did the little thing with the mini movies?
Yes.
Back right when Bischoff first. I think it has something to do with all that. What's some other things? They had that electric chair match, and was it Halloween Havoc '94, where Abdullah the Butcher got electrocuted?
Oh God, that cage match. That cage, yeah. Oh man, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a War Games match, I thought.
It was in a cage. It could have been a War Games. I don't remember for sure. I know it opened the show.
It opened the show?
It was either like first or second match, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk about a horrible booking decision.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. Wow, that's just bad.
The gimmick matches, I mean, they're not exclusive to WCW and and WWE. Like they're really out the raw ones. Like even back in the old days, you had like the bull rope, or I'm sorry, well, bull rope. They still have that. The coal miner's glove.
See, you've mentioned that match a bunch of times, and I remember it, but I don't remember it. I remember that it happened, but I don't remember actually watching it.
I think Jake the Snake and someone else had one in WCW. It was bad because they screwed up and they put it like so high up they could barely reach it. So,
I'll tell you, one gimmick match that I love, that because we're talking about all these and new ones are popping to mind. A strap match.
Ah, yes.
I love me a good strap match.
I haven't seen one of those in a while. The first one that comes to mind is Steve Austin and Savio Vega.
Exactly. At the pay-per-view that went dark.
Yes. Beware of dog.
Oh, boy.
It was in your house.
It wasn't in your house.
Those damn WCW people. Yeah, right. Well, obviously, I mean, it's hard to argue the WWE, and not to say that they don't ever make any mistakes. I mean, they've had the Punjabi prison.
Yep.
Let's see, what was another one?
Please bring it up. Please bring it up.
Well, there's a Buried Alive match.
Oh, you know what? I totally forgot Undertaker matches. Yeah. Buried Alive, casket matches.
There's a Kiss My Ass match.
Let's not talk about the Kiss My Ass matches.
No. Hair matches.
Hair versus hair, yep. I mean, that's really just a one-on-one. Oh, House of Horrors. Let's not talk about that either. I mean, hair versus hair matches are usually just regular one-on-one matches. With that added stipulation. No, I was hoping you were going to bring up Kettle from Hell.
Oh my god, I think I blocked it out. When the dogs are running around humping each other.
Worst.
Around the ring.
Worst. That had to be a Vince Russo match.
Oh, it was. It was 100%. Can you imagine being the people who are working that pay-per-view? Imagine being the wrestlers getting ready to go in that match, knowing that it's going to be horrible, and knowing that you just got to go through with it. And it's just, oh my god, I'd be sick to my stomach. And they tried, man.
They did try. Props to Al Snow and the Big Boss Man.
I mean, what was that? There's another one. You brought up crazy cage matches, like really bad ideas. The one where, once again involving Boss Man, where Undertaker hung Boss Man.
Hung him, yeah. That was just a Hell in a Cell match. That was a WrestleMania.
And he was back on TV the next night.
Yep. Way to stick to kayfabe, guys.
I'm trying to think of what show was the Kennel from Hell.
I want to say that was at In Your House. It was at an In Your House show.
Because if you're out there and you've never seen this match, you got to see it at least once.
Seek it out.
Oh. It's just like you're trying to put yourself as a fly on the wall of a boardroom where all these guys, or wherever it is, they sit down and do their idea pitching and stuff. And someone thought this was a good idea. And someone they had to go through and hire the dogs and the dog trainers. And it's like, well, what do? I mean, you don't want to get vicious attack dogs. You don't want to really hurt someone. So, I mean, what do we do?
Poodles.
Like,
that's what they should have done. Just get a bunch of poodles.
Either that or like dozens of like those tiny little Chihuahua dogs. Just have them running around. Or look, just get a couple Jack Russell Terriers. They're not even violent, but they're just so destructive. If you put 6 or 7 of them in the same place, they'll probably destroy anything within a 10-foot radius.
More than likely.
Excitement. I mean, that would still make the match more enjoyable.
Right.
That's what it was.
I mean, nothing against Al Snow and the Big Boss Man, but holy God, what a debacle.
I mean, hey, they had a job to do, man. They went out there and they tried.
They did try.
Here's one. You still see these semi-regularly. The lumberjack match.
Oh, God, I love a good lumberjack match.
So that was a pretty cool concept. It makes sense in the world of wrestling. Like, all these people outside the ring, like they're gonna whoop your ass if you fall outside the ring. It's just such a. Or even the lumberjack woman match. It's hard to say. Lumberjill. I know there's been a few of those. I just always. They're fun. I mean, they're not exceptionally exciting, I guess. But it's just, if they're done right, they're very entertaining.
I think lumberjack matches are a good way to end a feud.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you got like a feud with like two people who had like cronies.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily faction, but like wrestlers who just kind of tag along like a faction, but not like the Four Horsemen, where it's like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard and Ric Flair. You know what I mean? Like
more like the Nexus.
Yes, or like Jinder Mahal and his two flunkies, or something.
Yeah.
Of that nature.
What else you got on that list? I'm liking this. I'm liking that you made a list.
Let's see what I have. You don't want to talk about House of Horrors. I understand.
No, that was so bad.
Well, here's one, and this is an example of another. I mean, this is one we're going to be having on our show coming up to kick the shit off. It's a Money in the Bank match.
Oh God, any kind of a ladder match for that matter.
Yeah, TLC, regular ladder, Money in the Bank. Just ever since. Okay, I'm trying to think what pay-per-view it was. It's Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
WrestleMania 10.
Yes, the first. They had the first actual on
televised. Yeah.
Yes, I guess it was Bret Hart that actually brought that idea in.
Yeah, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had the very first ladder match in the WWF.
I remember as a kid, man, that was like something. Because back, when we started watching, you would see a chair and everything, but get used, but they didn't have ladder matches. They didn't have table matches, and you would have never saw Hulk Hogan in Ultimate Warrior climbing a ladder.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you never saw Big John Studd and Andre the Giant climbing a ladder. I mean, they probably wouldn't have had to have. But,
you know what? I'm gonna quick break. The body slam match between Andre and John Studd.
Oh yeah.
Probably the only one ever, but what a cool concept. Continue.
Poor John Studd.
I know.
He got ran out by Andre. It's like, yeah, we get it, Andre. You're the.
But you know what? He won a Royal Rumble.
What's that? Sorry, I cut out for a second.
John Studd won a Royal Rumble.
Did he win the first one?
No, Jim Duggan won the first one. John Studd won the first 30-man Rumble.
Okay.
Because the very first Rumble was a 20-man.
It was on TV, right?
Right.
Big John Studd. He's crazy, man, because he was like 6'7".
Yeah, he's a huge dude.
Even next to Andre, he looks small.
Yeah.
Not small, but like average.
Yeah. That's a much better way of putting it. Average.
Talk about strap matches, bull rope match, 4 corners,
Yep.
Another real fun timing related thing where if you do it just right, it's so thrilling. Man, it could go wrong. I'm trying to think. Who was it? JBL and was it Eddie Guerrero?
Yes.
Had a really good one. I mean, I like JBL and I like that character anyway. And Eddie Guerrero, I mean, just about anything he's going to be in.
Anything Eddie touched in that day turned to gold.
I don't know if I have anything else on here that White Castle of Fear. Viagra on a pole.
Viagra on a pole. Well, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one that I really like in TNA / Impact / whatever the hell you want to call it nowadays. Have you ever seen a Feast or Fired match?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Feast or Fired is speaking of things on a pole, giggity. Feast or Fired, there's 4 briefcases on poles. There's an X Division Championship match in one case, tag title match, a heavyweight title match, and then the 4th case is a pink slip. So it's that, and you got like 6 to 8 guys in this match. So you never know who's going to climb up, who's going to get which case, because then they do the reveal like 2 or 3 weeks later on the show. So it's that aura of unpredictability that I absolutely love about that match.
So is it the match is over when someone grabs a briefcase, or the match is over when all 4 briefcases
No, it's all 4 briefcases have to be grabbed, and as soon as the guy grabs one, he's done. He's out of the match.
Okay, interesting. No,
I love that match.
Was that when they did regularly, or was that like a one-time?
No, it was. They've had a bunch of them. It's just whenever they feel like doing one. Which actually brings me to my opinion of gimmick match-based pay-per-views. Now, like I said something about War Games coming up. My problem with that is, and when I think back on it, WCW did it every single year, and it was the same problem every single time. Because you have to make sure when that time comes to write a story that you're going to want to see culminate in War Games. So what that does is that it tells fans, smarter fans like you and I, who know, okay, War Games is coming up, we need to see who's going to be in it, what they're going to write for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes away that aura of unpredictability.
That is true. I mean, the match is still like the one they had before was excellent. But you're right. But then again, I don't know, man. I mean, back in the day, I don't know how smart the smart fan was, but it's like you knew that with War Games, the original War Games, like the heel always won the coin toss. And like a lot of times you could kind of tell, like, not all the time, but a lot of times you kind of see where they were going. I think during the NWO era, they kind of threw it off because the NWO actually came out like strong, I think, both times.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, the one War Games match that I didn't like was it was like Team WCW versus Team Black and White, NWO versus Team Wolfpack. I found that to be a clusterfuck, quite honestly.
Excessive.
But then, like, when WWE, when they did that match in NXT last year, they had it as 3 versus 3 versus 3. Now, this year, they're going back to, I don't know, I know I messaged you that War Games is going to be awesome. But have you seen who's in it?
No, I haven't seen the lineup yet.
Okay, spoiler alert. War Games this year is going to be the full 4 members of Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne.
Oh, so they're going the 4-on-4 route.
Yes, and I'm so stoked about it because that match is going to be amazing.
And that's the old school style there.
Right.
It'd be funny if they reversed it in the babyface won the coin toss.
Well, you know, I mean, you obviously know what MLW is.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of their weekly product? I talked to you about this not that long ago.
No, I just heard about it through the podcast that I listened to.
Okay. Go back and you can search it on YouTube. They did a War Games match recently. Because they put up their weekly show on YouTube. And they did a War Games match recently, and the babyface team won the coin toss. But then one of the babyface team members got jumped and couldn't compete. So even though the babyfaces won the coin tosses, the heels still had the advantage.
Very clever.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And of course, Tony Schiavone commentates for MLW, so that just made it all the better because he's seen all the War Games matches.
Oh, did I even think about that? Yeah, having Tony Schiavone commentating a War Games match, I mean, it takes you right back to...
In 2018.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, really, really good match. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I had to look that one up. I didn't know they did a War Games.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a... I mean, I guess WWE owns the name War Games. Did they call it War Games?
They did. They called it War Games.
Oh.
The match beyond and everything.
Now that's one that WCW / Jim Crockett Promotions got right.
Yes.
That was one. You talk about a pay-per-view that was built around an event. That's one that WCW knocked out of the park. And unfortunately, you can't say that about too many of them, but for that particular promotion. You know, what was it? There's another. Was it TNA Lockdown?
Lethal Lockdown.
Wasn't it all cage? Lethal Lockdown was that all cage matches, right?
Yeah, the Lockdown pay-per-view is all cage matches. And then there's Lethal Lockdown. That's basically War Games. I mean, it's like the exact same concept of War Games because it's the entry style, but then it's only one ring, one cage, and then when all the guys are in, the roof lowers, and the roof is full of weapons.
Interesting.
And I've seen some pretty stellar Lethal Lockdown matches over the years.
And were these real weapons, or were these like the kind of weapons that Chris Jericho and Ambrose had in their match at one time?
Oh, there was, I mean, the variety, the baseball bats, the kendo sticks, the chairs, you know.
Oh my.
Right. Now, speaking of unpredictability, one match that we haven't discussed, and it actually really bums me out that, like, even though I quote, gimmicked one up for last season of TGW, I really, really hope they can come up with a way to make it a regular match type in the 2K games is a gauntlet match.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You know, I don't see, because I know they've done it before, because there was an Undertaker mode in one of the games where it was like beat the streak or some shit like that. And it was a gauntlet match. You played as the Undertaker, and you saw how long you could go.
Well, they had that in the, what was it, SmackDown, one of the SmackDown games for PS2, both of them that I had, they're called Slobber Knocker, and you just kept fighting people until you couldn't fight no more. Similar concept.
See, so, I mean, the technology is there, 2K, if you're listening, give us gauntlet matches, for the love of Christ. I would love if you and I could have had our heavyweight champion for this year determined in a gauntlet match.
I am really surprised they don't have some type of, even if it's just like three, you know, with only like 3 people coming in or something, like a small number of people, some type of match like that. That is weird. because they have so much. They have so many other things that are cool. But I guess you can't fit everything on there.
Thank God we have elimination matches now.
Yes.
Too late. We got them after I recorded everything for Gold Rush. Dicks.
Screw you, WWE.
No, it's not screw you, WWE. It's screw you, 2K. 2K is the one that screwed it up.
Just think, they do all that shit in a year. It's crazy. I know they already got the framework set up, but man.
Which is why you can now see our lovely on-screen or lovely in-game models for this year for 2K19 on screen right now.
The creator mode for 2K19 is excellent.
Yeah, it is.
So much more realistic.
I love that you can create custom matches now because it makes it a lot easier to create gimmick matches. Like, the one thing that kind of bums me out that's not available is Hell in a Cell elimination style. You can do a 6-man or 8-man Hell in a Cell match, but you cannot have it elimination style.
I wonder why.
Well, it's because it's Hell in a Cell, it's supposed to be the door's locked, you can't get out, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, in kayfabe terms, I guess it makes sense. But it still bums me out because I really want to do it. Oh, man. Can you think... I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that we're missing. But, I mean, we've covered quite a lot.
I'm trying to look at my list here. Okay, here's one. I can only think of one time this ever happened. It's the blindfold match.
Oh, God, the blindfold match. Jake Roberts and Rick Bartel at WrestleMania 7, my favorite WrestleMania of all time.
It was so expertly done. They did such a good job.
It really, really
was.
was.
Man. It's just, there's so many ideas that they can do to make, even if they don't all work all the time, just to make the matches a little more interesting, to seem like there's more at stake, that there's just kind of entertaining a little more. You think that you got a battle royal, which is 30 guys, whatever, starting off all at the same time in the ring and going over the ropes. But then you got the Royal Rumble, which is just like
right.
Start off 2 guys and this whole pomp and circumstance for each guy coming in, and
thank God for Pat Patterson and his idea.
Yes, and thank God they had the presence of mind to change some of the things and make it what it ended up becoming, ultimately.
Oh man, that's coming up real soon. Like probably 2.5 months. The next Royal Rumble. God, I'm so excited.
What is this, 30?
No, it's the 32nd, because the first one happened in 88. So 2019 will be the 32nd Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
31 years, but the 32nd time. Because, like, when it's been around for 1 year, it's been done twice. So, like that, God, that irritated me. When they kept calling WrestleMania 25 the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. No, it's the 25th WrestleMania. It's the 24th anniversary. You stupid bastards.
You should write him a letter.
Write
a letter to the editor.
Write my congressman.
Tell him your displeasure. Yeah. Tell him you want to have a triple threat match and get the shit settled. Or a tornado tag.
Oh, that's something we did. That's something we didn't talk about. Is tornado tag matches. Gotta love tornado tag matches.
now we're talking about tag matches. What are some other specific?
Oh man, I can't. Other than just like tornado matches,
Mixed tags.
Mixed tags, yeah. There's all the elimination style matches.
Teams of 5
strive to survive.
Teams of 4. Your mom's a whore.
That's the best thing you could come up with to rhyme with 4.
Yeah. I don't know about the best.
Teams of 4. Vince Russo is a bore. There you go.
There we go. And it tags Vince Russo, but yet it's not as offensive to the ears. It's the best of all.
Oh boy, man. But yeah, I don't. There's all tag team table matches, tag team ladder matches. It's pretty much the same as the one-on-one matches. You just have more guys.
I would say that. What was the one with it's Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudleys?
You mean TLC?
Yeah. That match kind of like. It was a tag match, and yeah, it was just more guys, but at the same time, those guys really took it to a new level. And sometimes the teamwork aspect of that's what made it even more interesting.
I wonder. Oh man, I wonder if we could make, because I know I could do triple threat tag team ladder matches in the game. I don't know if you can make it like Extreme Rules, where you can try to grab tables or various weapons. I'm going to check that, because that would mean that we could pretty much have... because TLC is a match type in the game. But if we could grab whatever weapons we wanted, that would make it all the better. Whew. That's kind of got me excited now. That could... Well, I'll talk to you about it off air. That could be a big culmination. Anyway. Well, this has been a fun one, man. I love talking about these kinds of matches. But, yeah, I do believe, when it comes to gimmick match pay-per-views, the only one that I really love... I can agree with Elimination Chamber. Because... it's either for the title or for the number one contendership, usually, going into WrestleMania. And I think that's a great way to determine that. I absolutely agree with the Royal Rumble, because it's the Royal Rumble. But as far as the rest of them, like Hell in a Cell, War Games, stuff like that, I feel like the value of the match itself is a little low when you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Because, let's just say, Survivor Series 2002. The very first Elimination Chamber match. Nobody knew what to expect. And even now... even if you know what to expect, Elimination Chamber, bad example, Bad Blood 1997, the very first Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
That's gotta be Kane.
Yeah. Even if you know what to expect, if you don't know when you're going to get that match, it makes it that much more special. Just one man's opinion.
Considering you had two of the best of all time in there.
Right.
As well. And they did such a good job.
Because to me, a Hell in a Cell match should be a match that can end a rivalry at any time during the year.
Well, that's usually what the cage match, I mean, historically in wrestling, was usually the blow-off. Like, the big, bloody, fight out.
Right. But that's the thing. If I know it's coming, it's just not the same. No matter how much I love watching them, if I know it's coming, it's not as good. But
And think about some of the matches we talked about that. I mean, some of them turned out good, some of them turned out really bad. What if the House of Horrors would have turned out better? What if I don't know? What if Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal turned out better? It wasn't such a horrible, stupid idea. I mean, those would have become, it's weird to think about how stuff can hit with the audience.
Right.
Or how they can miss so hard.
Oh, well, this has been fun, man. I really do love going back and thinking about all these old gimmick matches, and just makes me excited to see more of them. Because, we've got War Games coming up. We're going to have the Royal Rumble coming up not long after that. We've got TLC in December to watch. And then, so let's see. 4 straight months we've got War Games with NXT and Survivor Series with WWE. Then on the main roster, you got TLC, the Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber.
It's a pretty good way to start the year.
Yeah, we've got some great. I mean, I won't say we have some great pay-per-views coming up, but we have some great gimmick matches coming up.
Yes.
So.
Some of the best.
Right.
Because I missed the days of the elimination matches at the Survivor Series.
Me too.
But I mean, they still do the brand match, don't they? Usually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, but I missed all of them be 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 teams.
Yeah, me too. But I do believe there should be at least 1 or 2 title matches. Just to say that they have them.
Mm-hmm.
Like 91 when they had when Undertaker got his title match against Hogan during the Survivor Series. I wasn't mad about it at all.
No.
And then we got this Tuesday in Texas.
President Jack Tunney has declared.
Oh, Jack Tunney. How we missed thee.
I completely bought that hook, line, and sinker as a kid. I mean,
so did I.
Why would you suspect that the announcer was actually the owner?
Right.
It was freaky when I found that out, man. It took me a while to adjust to that.
Yeah, Vince McMahon as the owner and not just the voice.
Yeah, he'd always been that guy that was there. Comment. It'd be like if Bobby Heenan stood up one day and was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I own the company."
Right.
What? I've been moonlighting.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 9 of TGW Turnbuckle Talk, discussing gimmick matches and various other things. Thank you for listening. You can see all of our socials there on the left-hand side. Please, please, please donate to Patreon. Please subscribe on the YouTube channel. Please follow on the Twitch channel. Subscribe on the Twitch channel if you can. Get at us on Twitter. Always check out BananaROMaTV.com for the hub. You can get a link to our merch, a link to our Discord.
Don't be afraid to drop us a line and let us know your favorite gimmick matches.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's got to be many more out there that we've not even. There's all the crazy thumbtack and fire matches and all that shit.
Pole on a pole.
Pole on a pole match. Oh my god.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. So, for OddSmith311, I am EvilPenguinGaming, signing off, and as always, together, we have been, count it down with me, a 1, a 2, a 3. Those